welcome back. I'm Rebecca Erb. I am here with the wonderful Daniel Murphy and our special guest, Shane Crawford. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah?
How do I look today?
Amazing.
Thanks.
We're sitting in the presence of greatness.
That's
according
true. He's the specialist of special guests.
Yes. So we should feel pretty lucky
You're
tonight. So let's get this discussion started. We are talking about last night's Walking Dead episode. It was called The Lost and the Plunderers. That's a hard word. But I will start off with, since I write notes, this episode was pretty easy for me to section off the notes with these weird text titles. That kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. What do you guys think?
With the names that kept coming up?
Yeah.
That was new for the show.
I completely agree. What do you think the point of that was?
I can't tell you the point of it, but I can say it was a nice change of pace. I appreciated it very much. We've watched for how many seasons now?
Right.
I don't mind something a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that. Coming thinking it like that, I agree. But it still brought me out of the episode.
So that's what took you out of it?
It did, a little bit. There was a couple other things that took me out of it, but maybe they just wanted us to focus on that character that they said. I don't know.
I mean, a lot was going on. There's a lot of people to look at, so it did help you
maybe
kind of focus
this is
on
who
one.
you need to be looking at during,
They're just trying to I don't know. Maybe they are just trying to have keep us aware of these specific people and what might be happening with them.
That makes sense. Well, I'm not going to go in order that they went in the episode, so I'm going to start with Eden at Oceanside. It really did not surprise me that Cindy didn't kill Eden. She just seems to be pretty level-headed in that sense and think things
Nothing like her grandma, was she?
No, she wasn't. Luckily, because her grandma was something else. But that was really bold of Eden to say, hey, I'm sorry, but your grandmother got herself killed. Do you guys agree with Eden? Do you think that her grandmother got herself killed? Do you think Eden was in the right of killing the grandma?
Grandma had it coming for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised she lasted as long as she did.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know that she intentionally did it to herself, really, as far as physically.
Right. But her putting herself out there and attacking somebody, that's gonna get yourself killed in this world, I think is what Eden was kind of saying. Enid.
Close enough.
Enid.
She's
I even got it wrong.
She doesn't even matter.
I even had it.
We have this conversation every week.
No, it's so funny
if
because
Tony was here, he'd be agreeing with
We
me.
know Cindy's name, and that's what's important. Right?
No, because
Right.
I like
Cindy,
Enid.
exactly.
Enid.
She's
Because even on my
fantastic.
rough draft notes, I typed 4 or 5 times Enid.
You threw me for a minute.
And
I'm I'm thinking, who is
and
Eden?
I still got it wrong. I was so excited that I was gonna get it right. Okay, so Oceanside definitely can take care of themselves. We see them with these big, spear thingies, and they're all in their nets, to disguise themselves.
I think basically what needed to happen was an incident that you would expect it to go bad, but they needed to forgive them and let them go.
Yeah.
It's just to kind of help them team up. There had to be something like that, and they had to then make the right decision in order to get over that event.
For
it
sure.
happened too quickly, as far as it being the grandma who was supposed to be the leader of the pack. It did happen. Wait a minute now, but maybe they forgive.
I do like how adaptable their society has been. I mean,
Right.
they don't have guns. They're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, they're still alive.
It's fair to say they're going to flourish a lot more without Grandma now. She was pretty well
set in her ways.
That's
true. She was
stuck. They weren't going to progress with her as the leader. Cindy's your new Negan for that squad.
I mean, she definitely is right for the position.
Oh, yeah.
She is very sure of herself and...
A little calmer on her demeanor, too.
Oh, for sure. So do you guys think that they were on their way to help with the cause when Grandma got
I can't
killed?
remember if it was just them going to the meeting to pick up whatever it was they were leaving, or whether they were headed. I don't think they were really headed anywhere. I don't know. I don't think they were headed anywhere as far as the cause. I still think there needs to be something else they need to see yet for them to join. And
well, there's still
Aaron sticking around or whatever's going to happen with that's probably where that's going to trigger from.
Yeah,
but
they're still extremely bitter over the gun situation, but they still want to know if the saviors are beaten. And with Aaron, sticking behind, do you think that he's going to be able to convince them to
that's
fight the
why
war?
that's what he thinks he can do. I think that's why he stayed. I think he thinks he can convince them.
Yeah.
It's Aaron's specialty anyways. That's what he does.
Right.
So if there's anybody right for the job, it's him.
That's really true, yeah.
And plus, what's he going to do? He can't go back to his boyfriend, so...
Right, he's not gonna chase after any of them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is true.
He's the best man for the job, literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's probably why he said to Enid.
You got it.
Enid. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad at myself. Enid to tell Maggie not to come, because it needed to just be him for them to kind of trust him and do what he used to do, is go out and recruit. Exactly. Yeah. So the next I would like to talk about the Michonne text title. And when that came up was actually the beginning of the episode, and we are still at Carl's grave, which was still pretty heartbreaking for me. I mean, I'm a big softie, so
I won't be able to rewatch that episode. That was quite a tearjerker,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. But another instance that took me out of the episode was when Rick put the gun on the cross. Yeah. And at first I'm like, is he really gonna leave that there? Then he kind of hangs out, and then he takes it back off. I'm like, what was the point of all of that?
Well, the symbolization of that was, do I let it go?
Because it was...
Give Carl what he wants. Do I allow peace? Instead, took the gun off. Okay, time for war.
Right.
I think that was the decision right there, is what that was.
Plus maybe taking a little piece of Carl with him.
Kind of like with Michonne's pavilion.
Yeah.
Was that the gazebo? What was the deal with that?
Her and Carl used to sit on the roof, and so, with everything being so fresh, it was like their spot, and she wanted it to not burn down, which I totally get it, but with that situation, it seems like the emotions are calling the shots now, which you've never even seen Michonne kind of get all out of loop. So do you think that's going to be a problem later on for her?
Well, look at the breakdown she had whenever she lost her kids. So Carl kind of took on that role of her friend and her best friend and her kids. So you're probably going to see the same kind of self-destruction from her and Rick. That meltdown is going to be the same as what you saw with Michonne earlier.
Right. Plus, in a moment where it's so heated, something like Carl's death, cracking them wide open is opening them up to allowing different emotions in too. So maybe they are going to see things, differently. And it's unfortunate that happened, but when bad things happen, you can take consider good things
from it,
and you maybe look at yourself and your life and think, I got to change things and do it a little different. It does. That's how it affects you. So, that's maybe what they're leading on to.
Yeah.
It needed to happen in order for Rick to see anything. And
well, it seems like Rick isn't really getting, the whole picture, but we knew, we talked last episode that we knew that Carl wrote a letter to Negan, and we, found that out, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when, Rick opens the letter and everything, but, they're going to the scavenger's dump. And with that whole thing, I really thought that it was a clever trap that was made.
Too.
With the paint to track them. Like, oh, this is clever. I really, really
And then the way that, as soon as that played out later, I'm like, oh, that was clever.
Yeah.
They fooled us, didn't they?
Yeah. Really, really did.
Well, I wouldn't have seen that coming anyway.
Oh, for sure. Completely
and man,
agree.
Is he in some shit now.
Yeah. And that's actually the next one that I want to talk about.
Literally. Chili, anyone?
Right? But Negan and Simon are definitely button heads, and I'm just curious on who you guys think is more dangerous, Simon or Negan.
Here's the thing. Negan's more dangerous. He's the boss. He's in control of all this. He also sees the big picture. The only reason Simon is dangerous, Simon is kind of like a Rick to Negan almost, in that he's not doing what he wants him to do.
He's rebelling.
So he's annoying in that regard. If Simon would fall in line, if Rick would fall in line, if they would all do what Negan is asking, it would be a happy world for all of them. They'd have a much better time. Carl would still be alive. Everything would be hunky-dory. They'd be great. And that's I don't know that that's necessarily a bad perspective. And I think Negan's right.
Oh, you guys heard that. You guys heard that correctly.
I mean, I'm starting to think so too. But I've said all along, from Negan's point of view, he is right. He is thinks he's doing right. He is saving people from his point of view.
We've watched the
but now I'm
entire
starting to
show.
see his point of view.
We've watched the entire show from Rick's perspective.
Right.
So they've trained us to believe that this is the good guy.
Right.
These are the great guys, and they can't make mistakes. Everything they do is right. They do it for the right reasons. Well, what if we've been led astray and everything they were doing was completely backwards?
Right.
What if this isn't the right
Right.
way to do
and
it?
we've definitely talked about that on the show
by comparing
before.
our group with Negan's group, you're seeing they're both pretty much exactly the same. They're doing what it takes for, in their minds,
has
the
murdered
best.
less people? Because I'd be willing to bet Negan has murdered less people.
I
'cause
highly
he
doubt that.
Literally murdered him by his own hand. I totally agree.
Oh, by...
Look at the numbers.
One out of every massive group.
Simon's group just mowed down how many with guns?
yeah. But
Negan bashes
Negan,
2 skulls every now and then. That's
well,
it.
Negan, to get in the
That's his
position that
purpose.
he's in, he's had to have done some dirty,
He
like...
bashes skulls in front of people, then they
I
behave.
don't think he did, exactly.
To save the group,
Yep,
he kills
I think
2.
he took it right to them
Right.
to prove a point. And that
In
was
his
as simple as that.
mind, he
Yeah.
is literally...
And I completely agree. I think
That's
he
also-
truly thinks that he
back
is
to my
saving
point, that's also why he's the
people.
most
And
dangerous.
Simon right now, he is the most dangerous, but Simon right now is almost like a rabid dog that's got off
Well,
the
that's
chain.
what I was going to say. I think Simon is more dangerous for the sole
but
fact that
rabid dogs don't
Negan
last
actually
long.
What's
thinks
gonna
that
happen
he's
when Negan
saving...
finds out?
Right.
Yeah, but with Simon, like you guys just said, he just killed all of the heapsters. When if that was Negan, he would have just killed one to make a point.
Right.
You know, so
Which is what he told him to
with
do.
With Negan, he thinks that he's like a humanitarian in some way.
She's
and
buying into it.
and
now.
Negan, I mean, not completely. I'm just saying from the fact who is dangerous, more dangerous.
It's not the fact that he's more dangerous.
Especially to the group, to the cause and the war. Simon is more dangerous right now because he just wants to wipe the plate clean. He wants to just cut our losses, kill everybody, and move on.
Yep.
And at least Negan doesn't want to necessarily
He needs a
kill
society
everybody
to survive. Negan needs people
Yeah.
to survive. Simon right now just is like, I'm just going to kill them all. And
Simon and Rick have the same exact
Yeah.
mindset right now.
Right,
where
I
I think
think-
Negan is still the enlightened one in this situation.
I think that Simon's going to go after Negan. Rick's going to take the bullet. And that's what we're seeing.
Really?
Rick. I think Rick's going to
You
save
don't think
Negan.
I
Michonne's
can
gonna
see
die in the
that.
end instead?
I think I could see some Michonne stuff happening.
Mhm.
I just
Foreshadowing.
I hate to think practical about it, and the fact that Carl's just been gone, and
Yeah,
you know,
that's what's
and the backlash from that shit, and I don't agree
Right.
with the backlash. It's part of the story, and now I see how much better it is because
For
of
sure.
it, and they're building off of it, and blah blah blah. It's been the plan all along.
You can't
But-
complain because it's exactly like the comics, and then when they do something that isn't like the comics,
Right.
you can't have your
Why
cake
would
and
you
eat
want
it too.
the show to be predictable enough where you can go
Right.
to a comic book and go, oh, this is how it's going to
There
be?
you go.
I
That's
want to be
absolutely-
surprised,
you got
and there's
it.
nothing worse than reading a spoiler or something online. So if
I'm
they
with
can
ya.
twist that story by changing a big chunk of it,
Change
but
it all.
not deviating too much, I think they're still opening it up to the new world order that's
with you.
coming.
I think so too.
And they got to make some drastic changes for that to happen.
Yeah.
So,
So
killing Carl, I see it now. I mean, had to be a thing that had to happen.
it sucks, but yeah, I agree. It's shoving the story into a much more interesting path.
Well, you need Rick to go off the deep end too.
For sure, for the...
He needs to
time.
shift into another personality.
Yeah.
Remember Rick with the beard when he was just a killing machine
Yes,
savage?
I
yeah. liked
So
him.
that's the Rick that we need back, and I think that's the Rick we're about to have now.
I think he wants to be that Rick, but he doesn't
He's
want
still
to be
holding
that
him-
Rick.
Like
Like,
Morgan,
Yeah.
he's
when he was
afraid
like,
of that transformation.
Carl
Yes.
wants us to have like peace and not fight, but you know, I'm gonna kill you anyway. Like he wanted to tell him about it, but he's like he didn't want to
Yeah.
let down the fact that I'm still mad. I'm a mad and I'm a man and I gotta be
Yeah.
tough and blah blah blah. Like I think it's yeah, I don't know. He's got to shift into a different person.
I
He
think
has
so
to
too.
again.
I
He has
think so
to
too.
become somebody else.
So Simon, I think I think he deliberately went against Negan's orders.
He knew he was going to do that.
He knew he was
before
going to
left.
do that. And I think so.
Here's the
but
question.
do you think...
Did Negan know?
I think Negan has a suspicion, or he wouldn't be trying to like say it over and over again and drumming it in.
I don't don't think at this moment Negan has a suspicion. I think that, you know, Simon was trying to butt in a little bit too much for Negan's liking, and he was like, no, this is the rules, this is what you're doing, end of story. And I think he thinks that Simon's going to do that, because at this point, he really doesn't know.
But I think also Simon might have also been taking some frustration out on the Heapsters, because he really wants to go to the hilltop and do it, because that's where one of his men came from in a box. Like, he's mad not more about that, because he's been building up to this.
And he definitely had something against the Heapsters. There was some underlying...
He doesn't like the way Negan's doing it, and that's his point. He wants it to just go out there and
do it the way he wants. So do you think that he would have killed them even if she didn't hit him? Was he going to find a reason to kill them?
He was poking the bear enough. He was trying, and he knows how she reacts. Like, that's her kind of thing, isn't it? Slap you in the face a couple times, like...
Or graze you with a bullet.
So he was just looking for a reason, for sure.
But if Simon is the one to be feared, it sucks, because now he has all of those guns. And I'm wondering if he has some boys that would back him up to go up against Negan.
What if actually Simon and Eugene are plotting, and part of Eugene's secret plan was to kill everybody and steal everybody's guns? Because they're out of bullets, and he can't really make that many bullets quick enough.
No.
But you're right. He does have all the guns, so if there is a butting of heads, but then are those people going to side with Simon, or are they going to side with Negan?
He has his own group that really just sticks with Simon and doesn't really, like, Negan is the top guy that they report to, but they're all Simon's men.
That's true.
So I think when it comes down to it, they're going to maybe side with Simon.
Do you ever get the vibe that Simon was in control before Negan?
Completely. We talked about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Negan had to
even
take
some
him
in
down.
The dialogue kind of made you think that way. Yeah.
Oh, see, that would be a nice little twist to me, because that shows you. I mean, if they ever go back into Negan's backstory, that could totally be, how it went down.
Well, you could see a neat changing of the guard coming up as well, where what if Negan gets kicked out of this group,
he becomes
Simon takes over,
the good guy, and then Simon becomes the Negan.
Where's he go? Does he go with Rick, or does he move on?
And he has a big meeting. He says, right, from now on, you're all called Simon.
And they play Simon Says.
Right. Simon Says, kill everyone. Except the leader.
So all of the Heapsters are dead, unfortunately, because I liked their characters on how they were different from everybody else, and they kind of broke the mold.
Why could none of them speak? It's only been the apocalypse for like 4 years.
I did like how they explained that. Like, they just wanted to be something else.
They're just lazy with their English.
And they were artists.
I don't need to say words.
They saw it as more efficient. Less words to be said.
But they wanted to be segregated as well, and just kind of redo life and just do it how we want to do it, and have silly haircuts. And
do you guys feel sorry for Jadis and the Heapsters?
She should have because Rick gave her how many chances, and she had to have put on this.
Well, this would have never happened if she would have fallen through with the plan that they had at the beginning. This is the only time we've
ever seen her talk normally.
Yeah, because she's broken.
When she took Rick to one side, just like the King did, gone, listen, Rick, look, I got a hard time, got to keep this act up, but really,
I can only fake it for so long.
Let's just go into.
I think what we're seeing from this transition was that wasn't an act for her. Those were her people. She is completely broken, and those.
But what I'm saying is, she should have fessed up a little earlier and got serious about shit.
Because I don't think she didn't have. For her, she didn't have a reason to fess up. She was. They don't bother. So she was just trying to go through the easiest plan to help her and her people.
But by taking shit, you're bothering people.
But of course, that's
there
not
has to be consequences in this day and age, as far as an apocalypse.
Right, and I agree.
Consequences came home.
And
for
finally,
sure. And she is at fault for what happened.
Right,
but after everything, I still kind of felt sorry for her a little bit.
But that's why Rick at the end was just like, no, shooting the gun in the air.
Done dealing with
but that I think is going to bite him in the ass, because she ain't dead yet.
Yeah, but before...
I don't think she's against Rick, though. I think if they see each other again, she'll try to join up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that she's going to hold any grudges. No. She gets it. She knows that she is at fault here.
She's going to
turn into... And I think that's part of why she's so broken.
Turn into the Phoenix.
And that she was difficult to work with, too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. She was clearly a pain in the butt.
Now that she speaks human.
Yeah, normal again.
But Simon did ask her about like a helicopter pad.
Yeah.
And solar
We
panels.
knew that was back there.
So, do you guys
There's a
think that
base.
they're going to be a connection to the fear?
What if the whole thing's a front for like the only living military left that have the cure?
Because they're hiding something, which
Well, we see the helicopter, so it's coming. Something's coming.
We did see the helicopter when he was up at the top talking to her before he met Winslow.
Rick saw a helicopter fly over him.
Well, there's that one part, but then if you when he's up and you see it up in
yeah, and that's when you saw the helipad.
Yeah.
So
do
maybe
you
it's
think
like
that
an
the
Area
Heapsters
51.
would be a connection to Fear as well as Morgan? Do you think they're going to kind of tie?
They definitely left us with something and then took the whole group out. Like there's a secret there. Like they left us with, because she said like the only way out's the way you came in. But you see them motherfuckers come from all different directions when they come in there. So yeah, maybe she's more than meets the eye.
I'm gonna take the stance that there is only a Heapster left. I don't think there's any more than her.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
That's the end of the lineage right there.
I think maybe she's the only one, but maybe they were hiding something.
They're definitely hiding something. If they have solar
They've survived
panels
this long in a dump.
Yeah.
Where are they getting food? You know, blah blah blah. They don't leave much, do they?
Probably hunt, right?
They're scavengers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna eat raccoons.
Yeah.
Well, just like how we got introduced to the group anyway, they're gonna go out in that pond.
Applesauce. She had all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
She did have a stash.
Yeah, she had a stash.
They definitely were well established and knew what they were doing. You know.
Something else is coming from
and
that.
when you live in trash, I mean, I don't imagine your standards are very high as far as what you put in your body.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
So we see Rick, doing his thing again, shooting over the head, and I think that's gonna cause more problems, like it did with Sadiq.
I think it's just another reminder, like, it's like one of them.
Yes, the newly found doctor.
It's just one of them. I gotta quit doing that moments.
And that's what I'm wondering.
Like he did it, and then afterwards, like
he promised Carl, and so far he's not fulfilling his promise.
But it doesn't happen overnight. Like it's not going to be like.
Completely agree.
He has
but
to
I think
realize
at
what
least
he's
it
doing
would
is
start
wrong.
with Jadis. I feel like that would be the easiest one to start with.
How many times has that lady tried to
But
kill
he
him?
still keeps going back to her.
Well, there's something about her. Obviously, they have a connection. That's
Well,
what you
she
even said to
wanted
Michonne.
to have
Listen, Michonne, we
some.
gotta go back to that crazy white bitch again. But it's just so it's alright. We're just getting some guns. That's all I'm getting. Promise.
So, if you were Rick and you found that your son wrote a letter to Negan, would you read your letter from your son first or Negan's letter first?
I'd have done exactly what he did and read Negan's first.
The same thing. Yeah.
Because I would know that something in my letter has to be connected to Negan's, for one. So I'm going to read what that guy's fucking letter.
I would get, butthurt about it. Like, why is my son writing Negan a letter?
But that's part of it. He has to get butthurt, and then when he gets butthurt, he realizes, God, my kid's a good kid.
For sure.
I should read this letter and keep an open mind a bit about it. But I'm still mad at Negan. I'm still gonna kill him now. And I'm thinking about it. I'm mad again.
There has to be something, because he had that moment. He's like, I just did that with Jadis. I'm not, following through with Carl's.
But it's part of him learning.
So then
to change.
then he read Negan's letter, and something in that letter made him flip again. Like, nope, we're fighting. We're gonna end this. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, there's more coming.
I'll do his promise after the situation is.
Aren't you excited to see what it is?
I'm wondering if because they showed it enough to where if I had the TiVo or whatever, I wanted to pause it and read
tonight
it.
And I'll screen grab it and I'll send you a picture.
Please do, because I am so curious.
Somebody
do you
has
guys
to have
think
screen
that we're
grabbed it.
gonna know what all of the letters say?
I don't think
Because
you
I want to know.
They don't want us to know.
Listen,
I want to know
I don't
at
think
least
you
most of
need
the
to know what all
letters.
the letters say. Like, there doesn't need to be an here's a blah blah blah's letter episode. Like, they don't.
I understand
some
that,
things
but I'm so curious.
You can
though.
understand what type of stuff is in these letters,
sure.
and only for the story, only need to know what a few of the characters' letters say. The fact
like
that Carl
Negan and Rick's
wrote
I
everyone a
wanna
letter is
read
nice
both of
enough.
those,
Like,
yeah.
but only a few of them, affect
That
the
was
story.
really nice that he wrote Negan a letter.
I agree, and I think
so.
he knew he had to do it anyway in order to stop all this.
And
crap.
it definitely affected Negan. I mean, it was very touching to see Negan's
his
reaction. He was just
response,
like,
exactly.
and it was not a show. He was genuine. He was like, man, I am so sorry to hear that. He was a good kid.
How did he die?
Yes.
Was it from us? I
Yes.
thought that was a huge moment right
the
there.
only
And
time
to me, if I was Rick, and Negan was like, was it us? And you could hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
That would make me double take and be like,
But
okay,
right, but
maybe
then
my
once-
son is right. Maybe I shouldn't be fighting.
right.
Just from that,
I feel like the only time these people can ever be real with each other is with a big loss.
Yes.
So that's why obviously it has to happen, but it's inevitably going to happen. But it's so great with the story as to what they've done, and that's why, even though it's sad Carl's not in it anymore, the impact of him and his character and what he's done.
And he's always going to live on.
Right.
He's always going to live on.
Right.
Plus, he's still alive in the comics, so if you want to enjoy his character a little bit more, go over and read the comics too. So there's that.
Well, what did he say to Rick whenever he right before he died? He said, "Thanks for helping me get this far," right? And that was a pretty important. I know that was last episode, but that was still pretty important, and you're probably going to see things like that brought up throughout the rest of the season as well. And as far as Negan questioning Rick's fatherhood, his ability to parent, and the reason Carl's dead is because of you, and the way you taught him and raised him. But I think if they weren't both trying to kind of stab at each other, they would probably agree the way Carl turned out is exactly how it should be.
Is that it?
Oh, you like that?
Oh my goodness. How did you get that? Where did you find it?
The controller sent it to me.
Oh, Tony, you're amazing. Negan, this. I got bit doing. I was
Is this Negan?
just.
Is this the letter that
Tony says, jump to the last
Carl
one.
wrote to Negan?
I think you have to be who you are.
See, being real.
I wanted to ask you.
Gosh, I keep bashing this thing.
Maybe you'll beat us. If you do, they'll just. Wait, how is working together? It's forgiving. That's what I said.
Basically, Rick's mad because Carl doubts the fact they're going to win. So that might hurt his feelings.
But it's very interesting. Carl's saying, like, I think you have to be the way you are.
Right, but you got to be... You mean he's telling Negan to be the way he is?
Yeah, like him saying, like, I think
but be
you
a little
have
nicer
to be...
about it?
No, I don't think he means that at all. I think that Carl sees the world for what it is and sees that
yourself.
Everybody has this role that they've taken on, and that's who they have to be to survive in this world. And somehow these people that that they're trying to be, find a way to intertwine and live together. Does that make sense?
It's like when Carl said he shot that kid. Like we talked about how he had to shoot the kid to feel what it felt like to do a bad thing versus killing somebody that had to die for a good reason. You got to go through some shit in order to know what's right and wrong. But in Negan's sense, he like you said, he's doing what he's doing, has to do to survive. But he also thinks from trial and error, he's come up with this system that works and let little amount of people die because of it. And it's the only way he's ever seen it. Like that in his mind, that's the correct way to do it.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but it works, and it's an economy of sorts, you know.
Let me bring up Bob. Remember how Bob had been with a bunch of groups and each of them failed and everybody got wiped out? Negan, there's a very good possibility he was in a similar situation where a person was allowed to lead and things continued to fall apart.
Simon,
so finally,
maybe?
Simon, perhaps. Things weren't working. So he came up with a plan that he saw would work. He obviously is able to... I'm hesitant to use the word manipulate, but corral people in the correct manner and get them to not only respect him, but also love him. Because remember, there are many people...
We love you, Negan.
We love you,
I was
Negan.
just
going to
say,
people that love him.
Because they're safe and alive.
They are
and
safe.
And they don't give a shit how they have to be alive. They're alive.
They're alive.
And they're safe, and they're in these compounds. And he's able to network multiple compounds and keep everybody alive. And then... bring in new groups and then go through the shitty part of bashing a couple of skulls, but then they become part of the network.
It's all said and done, they're also thankful.
Right. When you have time to sit and think about it, Negan has kept a lot of people alive. And if you look at Rick's group, they're just like vermin, like busting through the walls, killing people unnecessarily. If you look at it from their side of the fence.
Which is why I think Rick and his group are actually the bad guys. And that's why
this phone conversation that they had over CBs,
that was just
it
more
wasn't going to go well, was it?
Yeah.
But the way that it went was so perfect. The fact that they relayed the information that needed to be relayed to each other. Carl's dead. I'm sorry. Yeah, it sucks. Basically, and then in the middle of all that was, I'm still gonna kill you. We're still gonna fight. Bullshit. They're just throwing their weight around. Like it's leading into something better, obviously, between them two, and I would never have guessed this.
You think it's gonna get to that point to where there's gonna be something better between?
Oh yeah.
Between them?
I do now, absolutely, yes.
So Negan is gonna stick on the show.
And you know how I felt about
That's
him.
That's why Carl was such a big role. I think Carl needed to die to get to that level.
Yeah.
It has to be, because Rick needs this eye-opening thing to happen to where he can look at people even as bad as Negan and think, if I was Negan, yep, I'd have done the same shit.
So what do you think is going to be the next big eye-opener for Rick, since he's obviously hasn't taken the lesson the first time?
It's not that.
Do you think there's going to be another incident?
I don't think someone else has to be
Carl's
lost or anything like that.
Carl has never connected with Rick or the rest of the group in such a way as he has now with the notes. Words don't always get heard. Words written, you can't deny what they say, and you can read them over and over. You can't forget them. Like some kids the dad's in charge, and oh yeah, good idea, son, we're gonna do it my way. It's this what happens sometimes. So he's never had Carl's voice in his head the way he does now, and he's gonna carry Carl's voice in his head, and he has to in order to survive. That's the whole point of it. I think so.
I think so too. So
old man Rick, he was nice in those things.
Yeah. So is there anything else about the episode that you guys want to talk about? I will say I really like that nail gun part when Maggie's Walker Graham.
It's almost like they've had to do that before. Like,
cool.
Okay, give me the nail gun.
Right.
They're trying to scare us again with the corpses.
It's not the first time they've been dragged.
Yeah. The meat grinder.
I did like that. That was fantastic.
Absolutely when you looked at her looking down on that, and it's like everybody's a zombie, and it's like Rick's just left,
all
and
her friends,
it's
all
like,
her loved ones.
But that I didn't see it coming, obviously. But what that showed us all is that she is a bit smarter than she looks. Like she had a contingency plan, whether it was a contingency plan or whether she made it up on the spot. It worked. She took care of every single one of them without even getting close to him.
Yep.
But the way that they did it, making her actually watch them go in and see their faces, like, it was really clever, really well done. Like, really metaphorical.
That was the part that made me feel sorry for her. Like, I didn't...
Which is probably what they wanted you to do. Like,
I agree.
And
let
again...
you know she's a human.
Right. What did it say in the note? You gotta just be yourself to survive or whatever. Like, I don't know. She had to do what she had to do, and she said that to him. Like, we had to, that's what all the groups are doing. It's what Oceanside's doing. They're learning to change. Like, it's all about adapting and connecting, and like they had an argument about it was Oceanside and Enid, wasn't it? She said you can't always treat everybody like they're the bad guy. You gotta be like, we're trying not to do that. You should try not to do that too.
She even said, like, you can tell the difference between a friend and a bad guy. Start using that.
It was nice for her to finally step up as well.
Completely
I kind of been waiting
agree.
for her to actually take a more useful role.
Completely
instead of
agree.
just being Carl's sidekick.
Yeah.
Right, and she doesn't even know about Carl yet.
No,
and she's about to go back to the
right.
Yeah, so that's coming.
Yeah. Which in the commercial at the end of the episode, you see her, like, it's a really quick shot, but she's crying. So that's obviously when she finds out. But also,
is that going to change her, you reckon?
I think that I honestly don't think so. No. I don't think so.
You give her more of a reason to fight.
Yeah, it's just
for the good
we've
cause.
seen, like
she's on a mission.
Shane said that we're seeing this new side of her where she's stepping up. This is just going to make her step up even more.
But her and Carl, you don't know. They could have very well had conversations. They sneak off all the time in the woods.
Have a love baby.
But it's not so much that could. I mean, I know what I'd do out in the woods. But you know that they've had conversations and they connect and they're on the same page. So she's going to take Carl's spirit and run with it too,
Most certainly. Yeah, and also in the commercial after the episode, we see that Gabriel is out. He's still sick.
Still looks like shit.
Yeah. Tara is about to kill Dwight, which is interesting. And they're going through a swamp, so I'm really excited to see what kind of walkers are going to be waiting in this swamp.
Just some swampy walkers.
I hope they don't kill Dwight. I feel like they're going to mess up if they do.
At this point, I hope they don't either. I really disliked him at the beginning, like, majorly, and he's coming around. I'm starting to like his character a lot more.
Yeah, Dwight. I like to try and like look forward to try and figure out what's going on, and definitely Dwight's somebody that needs to stick around, and I think he's pretty key because he's still a mole, a pretty good one at the moment.
Well, he's covered. I mean, now he's stuck with them because the Saviors know that he was the mole.
Right.
Few people on their team that don't like Dwight, though. I don't think Daryl or Tara are big fans, right? But what's his role going to be?
I think Daryl has switched around. I think so because of Carl's death. From the commercial, Tara obviously hasn't.
He's just dealing with something. Well, something's got to happen, and they're going to blame him for it or something.
I can see that. Well, they're out in the woods, and that's the impression that I got from the commercial. That because he led them to the swamp. That's what it says. She's like, you tell them to go around this, but you're making us go right through it. And so I think he thinks that I think that she thinks that he led them into a trap.
Maybe he did. Maybe
I don't think so.
On.
I think he's done with
Maybe
Negan.
He's part of Negan's ultimate plan.
It would be neat if it went that way, wouldn't it?
He's a double mole with a side of guacamole.
Double mole.
I don't know how I would like that. That would be too much. That would be too much
over the top.
Yeah,
it'd be too much.
Living multiple times.
But like I said before, we seen his wife just disappear with no return. How do we know Negan doesn't have a hostage and he's bribing Bad Daryl to do whatever he wants?
Gone. I don't know if we're even gonna see her
I don't even think
anymore.
Negan's that mean anymore. Like I'm starting to be like, nah, I don't think Negan would do that now.
Carl softened him up.
I do believe
Sorry
that.
for
I think Carl
doubting you,
has
Negan.
Look how
softened him up.
adamant he is to not kill these people who have striked against him so many times.
Which
really
is
put
true.
yourself in that position. Would you still be that patient?
But Negan's even said that. Like, you're coming at me. Like, everything was fine until you started, like, pulling your shit. Like,
right.
Slow it down. We did your 2 skulls. We don't want to do anymore, but you can't.
Wasn't that only because they struck first?
Well, Daryl went at Negan, so they would have only been 1.
For all we know,
Useless Abraham.
For all we know, they would have appreciated Rick's group and said, "We're not going to kill any of you. Just work for us, and we'll be in perfect harmony."
But even the deal was 1. You've got to shoot 1, and he did 2 just as punishment for Daryl.
I think as much as as great as that group is, he may not have killed anyone in it. I'm sure there's always going to be special exceptions.
I think he still would have killed Abraham just because he knew Abraham was going to be...
Absolutely.
No!
Yeah, I look at Abraham and I need to kill that
because
guy.
he's muscle.
So I understand that.
He's muscle and he's a threat.
Because he would have been a threat. I think that was the reason why
Then why wouldn't you kill Daryl?
Well, I mean, even when he put up the bat to him,
he needs
Abraham sits up straight, you know? But...
I don't know.
Daryl, he didn't kill Daryl because he saw something in Daryl that he could manipulate.
Because it's
Daryl. He saw something in Abraham that he could never manipulate.
But he did have Daryl as a prisoner.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, yeah.
That was more fun for him just to torture
him.
Which, in a way, he wasn't killing him. He's just fucking with him. So, in defense of Negan again
I hate
today...
I hate to say it. I mean, I'm kind of coming around.
And if that's the case, and we bash on him a lot... But that's extremely good writing.
Well, it was also keeping Daryl hostage it's a great way to keep the team docile.
It's to break him down too, and to make him worry.
They don't rebel or do anything. Because if you do something, Daryl's going to die.
If we captured your toughest guy and put him in a cell, imagine what we can do to you. Is basically what he's saying. And you got to have the man behind the curtain thing. He's the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. He is. Yeah. He's been broken too.
He let that down with Carl, though. That was the neat thing with their relationship, is the man, it came down.
Hashtag Team Negan.
You got it.
Says Tony. It's perfect. It really is.
I mean, I am coming around, but it's hard.
Cindy.
It's really hard to think like that.
Okay,
since we have been with Rick's group
though.
this whole time, so it's like...
I have been bashing on Negan this whole time.
I don't consider myself a turncoat.
He probably hates it. It's like, I wanted him to die so bad. I still, up until a week ago, I think was like, he's still going to die.
Really? Up until the moment that he found out about Carl's death, I still wanted him to die.
Right.
When I saw his reaction, I was like, oh, man.
Hashtag Team Negan, hashtag day one. Because that's going to change probably, I bet. But right now, I don't know. I hate to even say it. I think you're going to change your mind too.
It's slowly
I think a lot of people
getting
are
there.
By the end of this, you're going to have a Negan tattoo inside of a heart.
Well, here's the thing. most of the audience isn't as great as reading people as I am. So they didn't know that Negan has a big heart when you get right down to it.
Yeah.
You know, so it took a situation like that for the rest of the crowd to finally catch up to what's actually going on.
He did have like 9 wives, so that's a lot of heart to go around.
I mean, there was little moments that that made me take a step back and look at Negan, like when he said that, you know, you don't, like, you have to get their permission first and things like that.
The acting there is brilliant. I mean, the nuances that they put in with the characters, specifically the way, you know, just fluctuations with their voice, the way they interpret things. It is a really great job, and there's it's why you can rewatch things and pick so much stuff up, because there is actually a lot to it.
The watchback value is so good.
Yeah, on the outside, you don't necessarily always see what's going on there, and there's so many small details that people overlook.
Yeah. So, did you guys happen to see the sneak peek? You guys?
I didn't see the sneak peek.
I didn't want to ruin it.
It really, the sneak peek wasn't as good as what they usually are, because last week's was the whole Walker-gram. So that was, and you even like saw him kill with the nail gun. This one is just Eugene asking Negan if Alexandria is all right, and Negan telling him that it's time to make bullets. So they're about to go back to the bullet place. What do you guys think about that?
He's gonna need him to fight Simon's army.
Do you think that Eugene is gonna try and come up with a plan?
Do you think Negan's gonna tell Eugene about Carl?
Would Eugene care about Carl?
I think he would.
Look at his response to Gabriel. That's just my traveling companion.
Yeah, but
that's really what he was
with
with Gabriel. Carl had an effect on everybody, even Gabriel. But Gabriel and Eugene used
to be kind of a big kid and probably connected with Carl on a bit more
I'm sure,
of that.
yeah.
Did they ever have interaction on the show? I can't really remember them speaking that much.
Gosh, they had to have had a little bit.
Well, you would think, yeah, but did
I don't
you
know.
see any?
I guess nothing memorable.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Eugene will care, and he's a turncoat anyways.
He's a bit selfish.
Yeah. So I don't think
I still feel like Eugene does have more of a plan too.
I think so too, and that could be. I mean, hearing Carl's death could be his turnaround again. Like it will be for mostly everybody.
Taken out of his coffin.
Yeah.
Or put in, depending.
So do you think bullets are going to be made, or is there going to be something happening before we're able to do that?
He might start, but it's going to get intercepted. I mean, he's not going to be able to turn out that many bullets.
Or they end up using the bullets for good.
Because at least Tara knows where the place is.
That's right.
Because she had that one bullet made. That's a great point.
Maybe that's partly of why she's fighting with Dwight. It's all come full circle and comes back to the whole.
And Dwight can say, like, I know Negan's going to want more bullets. And she's like, oh, I know where that place is. So.
And she just has to beat it out of him for some reason because she's a man-hater.
Because why not?
Yeah. Right.
Have you guys been watching The Red Machete? Have
you
guys been caring about that?
I love it.
It's really good. Have you been watching those little clips? It's the whole origin story of the Red Machete that Rick had
for a while. They show where it came from.
Yeah.
Really?
So right now it's still in the hands.
When is that on?
It's during the commercials.
Oh, okay.
So it's still in the hands of the claimed guys. Remember the guys that Daryl went with for a little bit? Yeah. So there's this really cool, you can see the Red Machete stuck in a big stump, and then off in the background you see them coming in and taking these people out of the tents, coming back to the stump, taking the machete, and he's about to cut off somebody's arm, and then it cuts. Really, really well done. Oh. It's really, really cool.
That whole thing was a good
I like
shot.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, are we gonna see?
Is there a meaning behind it, or is this just a
I
think it's building up to something, but it just follows the Red Machete, and it's gonna ultimately get into Rick's hands in this thing at the end of it.
Which getting into Rick's hands, it has to be. I don't know.
Has he still got it in the show?
I think so.
I thought he just had his hatchet.
Because he had the hatchet.
Because I remember he buried it.
That Negan gave him. That's the hatchet that Negan gave him, right?
Yeah.
Did he start
when he was going to cut off his hand?
Yeah, well, he was going to cut off Carl's hand. But when Rick came across the claimed guys, he rips out that guy's throat. And maybe that's when he gets the Red Machete.
Must be at some point. But he's also in that... Isn't he sneak through a house? Rick sneaks through the house and gets a
He's already in the house, and the claimed guys come into the house. And
that's
then he
right.
has to
Maybe he got
out.
It then.
But
I can't remember exactly when he got it, see?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying them. I think they're really
It's
cool.
just a little 1 minute thing.
Yeah.
It's just small.
So that's all that I have, guys. Is that anything else? Any other favorite moments of the episode?
Can't think of anything.
I will say I genuinely enjoyed the episode.
Oh yeah,
I did
been
too.
a lot of backlash. A lot of people didn't enjoy it, but I'm appreciating the direction it's going.
me too.
I
Really am. And the
agree.
fact that it's surprising me, even with the little details like the grinder, but the direction they really got me. They got me, and I like that they got me because movies and shows don't get me anymore. Like I love that I love it. It's good.
It quits being fun when you can predict everything.
Right, and
Yes.
it's making me
Right.
remember why I like the show.
Yes.
I think.
And it's amazing that the ratings are still so low when
People don't
this
give
season so far is really
people don't give
they're
it
really
enough
killing
of
it.
like sometimes some stories can't be told just like that.
Well, let
You
me
have
throw
to
this-
build them up, and now we're seeing it. Like it's really worth the time. That it's actually like we complain on a slow episode, but after 2 more episodes, you realize why it was like that.
Yep.
And people don't give it enough of a chance.
You need to be a little bit more patient. Everything is now, right now, action,
Are
so
the
fast.
ratings actually lower? Obviously, they're lower from where the show peaked at, and that's normal.
Right.
You know, you're gonna see things fall off. Are the ratings actually
I
low
think
now,
in the
or are they just lower?
This is the lowest mid-season comeback episode, lowest mid-season of the entire series.
I gotta say, I'm not surprised because the majority of the population are stupid. So this does not surprise me that they would not appreciate genuinely good work.
Right.
I agree.
I'm not even a fan of the show. I know I'm not barely on microphone, but I'm not even a fan of the show. But this season, I've liked more than any.
This is my favorite season. Absolutely.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that what's his nuts is gone, or do you think that already happened before they kicked him out?
Exactly. Everyone hated it after. Shane.
Not Shane, Gimbal.
No, I don't think it's anything to do with Gimbal.
None of those
Gimbal
changes
obviously
are-
don't care, but I think
yeah.
that Glenn dying put
A lot of people were out on that, weren't they?
But again, Glenn's death had to happen in order for us to feel this way about Negan, in order for us to feel now this way about Negan.
Glenn's death is also
It's storytelling.
Comic books, and I mean, it was inevitable.
It's storytelling.
I mean, really, if you look at the whole series in a whole, everybody's death pushed the story in a new
And
direction.
that's the point of the death in the
You
story.
know?
And as I said, the deaths are inevitable in this
Yes.
apocalyptic.
And they've made every death make sense in a way.
It
They
happens
made a reason
for a
it.
reason, which is
Yes.
great. And
Yeah.
the fact that I mean, you got sometimes pick the favorite character or the most defenseless character to make it more of an impact on
Yeah.
people. And it's about cracking your emotions. And when you can do that to me, because I'm heartless, then you've done it right.
We all
That's
know
why you're a
this.
Negan fan. I knew it.
I'm not a Negan fan yet, but I'm appreciating Negan a lot more.
I will-
That's a good way to put it. I am not a Negan fan, but I'm appreciating him a
Negan
little
lover
more.
right here. I will say,
Closet case #closet case Negan.
I hope
Love
there's
it.
only one more season of the show.
Yeah.
You know, bring it to a conclusion. Quit drawing it out more and more and more. It's been a great ride. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
End it on a high note.
Yeah.
You know,
They're gonna spit a couple more into fear to let us have a little bit to kind of wean us off, and then bam, end of
Right.
it.
Small side note: ratings are the lowest they've ever been, but views are. It's still at 8 million views.
yeah, that's
Oh,
still a
jeez.
lot of people watching.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if that counts in streaming services or if that's just.
They're counting everything nowadays.
Can you imagine
I'm sure,
what it
yeah.
used to be? Like
Netflix
if
has to
ratings
be
are
on-
really low, but they're still getting that many
Well,
views.
and that's what
you
I'm
know?
saying is, yeah, it's lower than its peak, but its peak was outrageous.
They're
yeah.
probably
It's-
talking in
There's still
general
a
too.
community. There's still a Walking Dead
People
community
watching
that
it back.
cares
Well,
and loves the
it's,
show.
it's expanding constantly, though. There are
Yes.
people who just started watching the show a year ago, so they had to go back and rewatch
Mm-hmm.
everything, and now they're caught up. So although some people dropped off, new ones came in, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just how it's going to go. You're going to have ebbs and flows.
Right. you
But I
know.
do agree with you. I think that they need
As
to
you should.
start wrapping things up a little bit. I mean, as much as I would still enjoy it if they put out another
Everything
4
good
seasons,
has to have an ending.
but
Well,
it's
let's-
still
let's
this is a
not-
perfect time to kind of
Right.
start wrapping things up in the next. I would give it maybe 2 seasons.
Let's
2 more
not
seasons?
wait until there's only a
stop at
million
10.
people watching. Let's wrap up the story
Yeah.
as best as we can and get out of there. And it would also be cool if maybe we could move on to new zombie shows down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's
Maybe
this is-
New World Order will be a
Right,
spin-off.
It's such a massive franchise. Right now, no one else can do it.
Yeah. I agree.
Pass the torch.
If you're a true fan of it, you'll want it to have a good ending it deserves.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I want an ending. I want a good ending. I don't want it to just drag on.
Right.
I want
People
it to be
dying
a
and dying and dying
happy
until we're left
ending.
with people we don't care about.
Right.
It needs to end with people we care about.
Yes.
Which
it
is
needs to
probably
be a
why a
good
lot of
ending.
people jumped out when Glenn jumped out, because they liked him so much. Well, show's over. Glenn's gone.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
see the perspective, but I'm on this train. I can't get off halfway. You know,
Right.
Once
And
it
it
gets
better
to the
get to
final
the destination. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't cancel this halfway
Right.
through it. You know, don't leave me on a cliffhanger here.
Can you
Wrap my
imagine?
eyes. Oh, I'd be so annoyed.
Yeah.
I would cry.
I'm sure 8 million other people would be too.
I would cry.
No.
But
We would riot.
yes.
Then you make up your own ending. They all died.
So what do you guys got going on outside of the Walking Dead world?
I got a lot going on.
Tell us
But-
about it.
HMMfilms.com. It's all on there.
Tell us
We're
a
doing-
little bit.
We're doing a movie. What are we doing? Dolly Kill Dolly Kill in 2 months here.
What?
We're doing that.
Woo.
Yeah. Half
Are
of
you going to
that's
put up a
already been.
link? Is Tony going to slam that up
He
there?
might slam some links
Fantastic.
in the link down in the description
It
below.
should be below his face.
Somewhere below, which is normally means down.
Good.
Yeah, and then we're doing Sweet Little Holly, kind of a spin-off movie from the
Really excited for that.
Little clown adventures, and then we're doing Naughty Schoolgirls of the SS, hopefully later
That
in
sounds
the year.
pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
it really is. The title is a little misleading, but
The title is very misleading,
Oh.
but
and
it's
then
good.
I think kind of that's what we're working on this year.
Very cool.
Oh, and then
very
2
cool.
film festivals that we're all working on.
Whoop, whoop.
That's coming up. 420 Midwest Action Fest.
Action Fest.
Got some killer movies.
Oh my gosh, so many good movies.
Hopefully have
I'm
a schedule up
excited.
in a week or so. Hopefully.
If I have anything to do with it, yes. I am so ready to get the schedule out so you
We'll
guys
get it
can see
done.
what we have to offer. Yes.
Great.
This guy's busy, I
Shane.
know.
Yeah, what have you been up to, man?
I have a YouTube channel, and if people want a little bit of insight onto how to make yourself a better person, then that is the place that you should go. I'm offering wisdom, fantastic tips that every person is going to appreciate.
For free.
I like
For
it.
free,
For
mind
free.
you.
Yes.
I do this out of the kindness of my heart.
Better
Not
yourself.
because I care about you, but because I care about me.
Yeah, better yourself.
So where can they find you? What's the channel called?
The channel is my name, Shane
Hey,
Crawford,
listen,
which is
if-
synonymous for greatness.
And if you can't find it, you don't deserve to be there, quite
That's a great
frankly.
point.
So, sorry.
I mean,
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm a subscriber.
it's pretty amusing. It's mildly amusing.
I don't know.
I don't
I'll
think
give
I don't
that
find
to you.
anything funny
yeah, it's
about it.
completely serious.
She apparently doesn't get it.
Okay, so you guys can
broke
find me
character.
at
you did.
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Geeky Lerp Chick. That's about all that I have going on.
That's not true.
Yeah,
You're a lot busier than that.
a little bit, a
You
little
made that
bit.
video, right?
I made what?
Huh?
Yeah. So there's that.
You got a pig at the house to take care of.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
babe.
I have a pig, and we just got a rabbit, which is really exciting. So,
Can you talk about your other news?
what's my other
She's
news?
pregnant?
No.
No, not that news. That's
Oh,
old news.
The way you said it.
Your news.
Yeah.
your new deal.
Your news.
Up north in the city.
Tell the crowd about your news.
How is this not a thing that clicked with
I
you
don't know.
immediately?
I don't know why. Well, I had an audition a few weeks ago, and I got accepted into a
Maybe.
talent agency. I really didn't know what you were talking. I was like, I have news. What's my news? Yeah, so I got accepted into a talent agency. I'm taking classes weekly up in Chicago, and hopefully that will open up some new doors. I'm pretty excited.
Or windows
pretty
that you
badass.
can crawl through. Either
The-
way.
either
As
way.
long as you can get in the house. You're good.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
know your exits.
Yeah, exactly. So, pretty exciting. Is there anything else exciting?
No,
you guys
Wrap it
nothing.
up.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all the regular plugging stuff. And you can catch us next week, Monday, and live at 7.
And you're welcome.
Guys, have a good evening. Bye.